So, hi everyone, good evening,
Hi.
and welcome to Durga Listens edition 2. Yes, for those of you who have joined us for the first time, let me quickly introduce myself to you. I'm Vishala. I work with Durga, and Durga is an organization that works in equipping women in reclaiming their safe spaces, in equipping women to take control over their own safety. A lot of proactive measures that we take under different kinds of programs of ours. Much about us towards the end of the session, but for now, hey, welcome to Durga Listens 2. So, what is Durga Listens? So, a lot. What is listening when you question an audience? Then they usually say, "Just someone speaking. I'm listening." No, sorry, that's hearing, and listening is very actively hearing what the other person is saying. So, something like that. Durga actually lends a ear to a different kinds of thoughts. Durga wants to involve different kinds of people into the conversations of women's safety and gender. And so here we are doing this online event where people across different fields, age, gender, sex, everything across all that, people are here to just share your thoughts. Coffee and candid conversations is the tagline that we came up with because we decided that we wanted to be more personal, candid, and by personal we mean something not in an academic setup or anything, but to share our thoughts. We might have come here as strangers, but we are all strangers coming here connected by passion for a certain reason, and that's why we are here. And the first edition, we conducted it a fortnight ago. Our topic was, what does feminism mean to me? And coincidentally, and not out of intention, all our four speakers were women. And then, when we sort of looked at it in retrospect, we thought, hey, we'll have to specifically involve men in this conversation. And so then we also thought that more often than not, we miss out, or rather men get missed out both actively, passively. There's missing out of other half, or a part of it. I shouldn't be saying other half because gender is not binary. Yeah, but men tend to get missed out in these conversations, and then we hear men and women speaking differently about feminism because of that. And we thought, hey, it's not going to be right. It's going to be a lot of skewed matrix if we don't involve men. So we thought this time we'll specifically call men, and let's talk about what feminism means to men. Does it mean the same? Does it mean differently? And everything in between. So yes, welcome. A round of applause for everyone who has gathered here, and you've taken out time to come and be with us, with the team Durga, and at this platform. So a round of applause for everyone. And today, our entire session is going to be divided into book reading and open mic artists. Our four artists for today are featured artists, and I'll introduce them to you when we come to the open mic part. But as of now, we begin with book reading today, and our very own Durga Abirami is reading a book written by Bell Hooks, and the book is titled Feminism is for Everybody. And so let's hear it from Abhi today. Hope you enjoy the book. The book is very insightful, and Abhi will be telling more about it. So I welcome Abhi to take over from here and start the book reading.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hey Abhi.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
So this book called
Hi, Abhi. Good evening.
Feminism is for Everybody is written by Bell Hooks, and in this book, through this book, she explores the nature of feminism and how feminism is promising to eliminate sexism from the system. And though it would be interesting to read the whole book, for time constraint, we would be looking into some excerpts from this book, which would overall convey the message that Bell Hooks is trying to convey. And without giving much of spoilers about the book, let's just dive into it. Everywhere I go, I proudly tell folks who want to know who I am and what I do that I'm a writer, a feminist theorist, a cultural critic. I tell them I write about movies and popular culture, analyzing the message in the medium. Most people find this exciting and want to know more. Everyone goes to movies, watches television, glances through magazines, and everyone has thoughts about the messages they receive, about the images they look at. So it is easy for diverse public I encounter to understand what I do as a cultural critic, to understand my passion for writing. But feminist theory, that's the place where the questions stop. Instead, I tend to hear all about the evil of feminism and the bad feminists, how they hate women, how they want to go against nature, and how they are all lesbians, how they are all taking the jobs and making the world hard for white men who do not stand a chance. When I ask these same folks about the feminist books or magazines they read, when I ask them about the feminist talks they have heard, about the feminist activists they know, they respond by letting me know that everything they know about feminism has come into their lives third hand. That really they have not come close enough to feminism or feminist movements to know what really happens, what it's really about. Mostly, they think feminism is a bunch of angry women who want to be like men. They do not even think about feminism as being about rights, about women gaining equal rights. When I talk about the feminism I know, up close and personal, they willingly listen. Although, when our conversations end, they are quick to tell me I am different and not like the real feminists who hate men, who are angry. I assure them that I am as real and as radical a feminist as one can be, and if they dare to come closer to feminism, they will see it how it is not how they've imagined it. Males as a group have and do benefit from patriarchy, from the assumption that they are superior to females and should rule over us. But those benefits have come with a price. In return, for all these goodies men receive from patriarchy, they are required to dominate women, exploit and oppress, using violence if they must to keep patriarchy intact. Most men find it difficult to be patriarchs. Most men are disturbed by hatred and fear of women, by male violence against women, even the men who perpetuate this violence. But they fear letting go of the benefits. They are not certain what will happen to the world they know most intimately if patriarchy changes. So they find it easier to passively support male domination, even when they know in their minds and hearts that it is wrong. Again and again, men tell me they have no idea what it is feminists want. I believe them. I believe in their capacity to change and grow. And I believe that if they knew more about feminism, they would no longer fear it, for they would find in feminist movement the hope for their own release from the bondage of patriarchy. It is for these men, young and old, and for all of us that I have written this short handbook, the book I've spent more than 20 years longing for. I had to write it because I kept waiting for it to appear and it did not. And without it, there was no way to address the hordes of people in this nation who are daily bombarded with anti-feminist backlash, who are being told to hate and resist a movement that they know very little about. Feminist consciousness raising for males is an essential to revolutionary movement as female groups. Had there been an emphasis on groups for males that taught boys and men about what sexism is and how it can be transformed, it would have been impossible for the mass media to portray the movement as anti-male. It would have also pretemed the formation of an anti-feminist men's movement. Often, Men's groups were formed in the wake of contemporary feminism that in no way addressed the issues of sexism and male domination. Like the lifestyle based feminism aimed at women, these groups often become therapeutic settings for men to confront their wounds without a criticism of patriarchy or a platform of resistance to male domination. And future feminist movements will not make this mistake. Males of all ages need settings where their resistance to sexism is affirmed and valued. Without males as allies in struggle, feminist movement will not progress. As it is, we have to do so much work to correct the assumption deeply embedded in the cultural psyche that feminism is anti-male. Feminism is anti-sexism. A male who has divested of male privilege, who has embraced feminist politics, is a worthy comrade in struggle and in no way a threat to feminism, whereas a female who remains wedded to sexist thinking and behavior infiltrating feminist movements is a dangerous threat. Significantly, the most powerful intervention made by consciousness raising groups was the demand that all females confront their internalized sexism, their allegiance to patriarchal thinking and action, and their commitment to feminist conversion. In that intervention is still needed. It remains the necessary step for anyone choosing feminist politics. The enemy within must be transformed before we can confront the enemy outside. The threat, the enemy, is sexist thought and sexist behavior. As long as females take up the banner of feminist politics without addressing and transforming their own sexism, ultimately the movement will be undermined. Feminist thinking helped us unlearn female self hatred. It enabled us to break free of all the hold patriarchal thinking had on our consciousness. Male bonding was an accepted and affirmed aspect of the patriarchal culture. It was simply assumed that men and groups would stick together, support one another, be team players, place the good of the group over individual gain and recognition. Female bonding was not possible within patriarchy. It was an act of treason. Feminist movement created the context for female bonding. We did not bond against men, we bonded to protect our interests as women. When we challenged professors who taught no books by women, it was not because we did not like those professors, we often did. Rightly, we wanted an end to gender biases in the classroom and in the curriculum. Boys need healthy self esteem, they need love, and a wise and loving feminist politics can provide the only foundation to save the lives of male children. Patriarchy will not heal them. If that were so, they would all be well. Conservative mass media constantly represented feminist women as man haters. And when there was an anti male faction or sentiment in the movement, they highlighted it as a way of discrediting feminism. Embedded in the portrayal of feminists as man hating was the assumption that all feminists were lesbians. Appealing to homophobia, mass media intensified anti feminist sentiment among men. Before contemporary feminist movement was less than 10 years old, feminist thinkers began to talk about the way in which patriarchy was harmful to men. Without changing our fierce critique of male domination, feminist politics expanded. It recognized that patriarchy stripped men of certain rights, imposing on them a sexist masculine identity. Anti-feminist men have always had a strong public voice. The men who feared and hated feminist thinking and feminist activists were quick to marshal their collective forces and attack the movement. But from the onset of the movement, there was a small group of men who recognized that feminist movement was as valid a movement for social justice as all the other radical movements in the nation's history that men had supported. These men became our comrades in our struggle and our allies. A serious gap in feminist thinking and practice has been the refusal of the movement to confront head on adult female violence against children. Emphasizing male domination makes it easy for women, including feminist thinkers, to ignore the ways women abuse children because we have all been socialized to embrace patriarchal thinking, to embrace an ethics of domination which says that the powerful have the right to rule over the powerless and can use any means to subordinate them. At the beginning of feminist movements, feminists were harsh critics of mothering, pitting that task against careers which were deemed more liberating, more self affirming. However, as early as the mid 80s, some feminist thinkers were challenging feminist devaluation of motherhood and the overall valuation of work outside the home. In future feminist movement, we need to work harder to show parents the ways ending sexism positively changes family life. Feminist movement is pro-family. Ending patriarchal domination of children by men or women is the only way to make the family a place where children can be safe, where they can be free, where they can know love. More than any factor, the feminist critic of mothering as the sole satisfying purpose of a woman's life changed the nature of marriage and long-term partnerships. Until we see major changes in the way work is structured time-wise, we will not live in a world where life is designed to allow men the time and space to parent. In that world, men might be more eager to parent. But until then, many working males who are overtired and underpaid will all too willingly accept a woman doing all the childcare, even if she is overtired and underpaid. In the future feminist movement, we will spend less time critiquing patriarchal marriage bonds and expend more effort showing alternatives, showing the value of peer relationships, which are founded on principles of equality, respect, and the belief that mutual satisfaction and growth are needed for partnerships to be fulfilling and lasting. Feminism has been and continues to be a resistance movement which valorizes spiritual practice. Fundamentalist patriarchal religion has been and remains a barrier preventing the spread of feminist thought and practice. Mainstream mass media called attention to feminist critics of religion but showed no interest in highlighting the spiritual awakening that occurred amongst diverse groups of feminist women. Masses of people still think that feminism is anti religion. Often, feminist spiritual practice found acknowledgement and acceptance in therapeutic setting where women were seeking to heal from the wounds inflicted by patriarchal assaults. Feminist spirituality created a space for everyone to interrogate outmoded belief systems and create new paths. We are told again and again by patriarchal mass media, by sexist leaders, that feminism is dead, that it no longer has meaning. In actuality, females and males of all ages, everywhere, continue to grapple with the issue of gender equality, continue to seek roles for themselves that will liberate rather than restrict and confine, and they continue to turn towards feminism for answers. Visionary feminism offers us hope for the future. By emphasizing an ethics of mutuality and interdependency, feminist thinking offers us a way to end domination while simultaneously changing the impact of inequality. In a universe where mutuality is the norm, there may be times when all is not equal, but the consequence of that inequality will not be subordination, colonization, or dehumanization. Imagine living in a world where there is no domination, where females and males are not alike or even always equal, where a vision of mutuality is the ethos shaping our interaction. Imagine a world where we can all be who we are, a world of peace and possibility. Feminist revolution alone will not create such a world. We need to end racism, class elitism, imperialism, and so on. But It will make it possible for us to be fully self-actualized females and males, able to create beloved community, to live together, realizing our dreams of freedom and justice, living the truths that we all are created equal. Come closer, see how feminism can touch and change your life and all our lives. Come closer and know firsthand what feminist movement is all about. Come closer and you will see feminism is for everybody. This is Bell Hooks and her thoughts put in a very concise format. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to Abhi for reading this valuable book to us. Abhi, thank you so much. You
Thank
read it
you.
with a lot of, personal touch, and really, the book itself has focused on different areas. Like, like the title mentions, feminism is for everybody. I think Bell Hooks has focused on family, religion, spirituality, academics, and everything. I wish, we could have more of it, but again, time constraint. And so, but thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you.